Prominent pro-life leader Marjorie Dannenfelser, who served as head of Trump's pro-life coalition in his previous campaigns, notably was quick to speak out following Trump's announcement, writing, quote, "We are deeply disappointed in President Trump's position. The Dobbs decision clearly allows both states and Congress to act. Saying the issue is back to the states cedes the national debate to the Democrats, who are working relentlessly to enact legislation mandating abortion throughout all 9 months of pregnancy. If successful, they will wipe out states' rights." And joining us now in studio is Marjorie Dannenfelser herself, president of Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America. Marjorie, thanks for being here. What a week.
Quite a week.
So let's dive right in. President Trump has been all over the map on this issue of a federal abortion limit. We have a timeline for our viewers to look at where they can see his shifting stance. His announcement this week, did he tank his pro-life credibility?
Well, here's what I think is on the table. There is a very important, urgent political question that has to be answered. Who will we vote for president? The question you're getting to, and that a lot of pro-life leaders just spoke to, was where is the appropriate battleground for this most important human rights battle of our time? Right. Only in the states, or is it a matter for our nation? If this movement cedes the territory to the states only and says that your geography is predictive of whether you live or die in our country, then this movement is headed for the ash heap of history, in my opinion.
And we'll delve into that strategy behind, that thinking behind a 15-week abortion limit. Your statement in response to Trump, that we read that in part, received a lot of attention, including from President Trump himself, who had some sharp words on his Truth Social account. Marjorie, I want to give you the opportunity to respond. What do you want to say to his claim that you should be helping Republicans win elections rather than making it impossible?
Well, we've always believed, and in my partnership with the president in the past administration and the vice president in the last administration, we've always believed that what you do is the smartest political thing that you can do in the moment. You make that strong increment, be as bold and ambitious as you can be, given the fact that our nation includes California and Alabama. So what would that consensus be? It would be a smart political move. And that is the correct moral position to take as well. You can't separate those things. You can't say that that all of a sudden you abandon the desire to get to consensus when finally we have the ability to pass something. Look, 15 weeks, maybe that's too weak when you look at across the country considering all those states. But I would say this, that the most important question on the table is whether the federal government has anything to say. Is there anything rooted in our Constitution that says, that points to the value and dignity of every human life, or does it not? I think that I would just say this, that and my past support of this president who made this moment possible, that the best possible advice, which I gave him over many, many months, including up until just this week, was that the 15-week limit was a place to begin. It could be stronger, perhaps, but somewhere. And that is the contrast with the other side that we need.
Well, and as of late March, he seemed to be voicing support for the 15-week limit. Speaking of smart political moves, if you will, I mean, there are people who see Trump's move as politically savvy, given that voters in 7 states now with these ballot initiatives have been siding with abortion advocates. So what do you say to people who see this as actually a politically savvy move? And is the pro-life issue, is that a losing issue now?
Well, I think it's where you position yourself as to whether you're in a losing posture or not. I think there's no question about this, just to be clear, and Lila said it too. The contrast between letting states speak and letting states land where the consensus is, contrasted with no limit on abortion and the idea that this current administration, if they have a Senate and a House, would wipe out every single pro-life protection. They will eliminate the filibuster. They will do that. So the contrast means, yes, of course, we have to elect this president, and we will need to at least get the House or the Senate and the presidency.
So to clarify, you are still supporting President Trump in this campaign?
Yes. But to your question, which is this a losing issue? It does not have to be that. And I would encourage all people who believe in this issue, everyone who's been doing this for all these years, and new people coming into the movement, don't lose your confidence in the fact that this is way way deeper than the political stance that we're taking right now, and that it is founded in the 14th Amendment and our obligation to have equal protection of all human beings under the law. And perhaps his presidential nominee is not going to take a position on that, but we cannot cede that ground, ever.
Again, this whole week has brought to the surface the debate over a 15-week limit, a debate over the federal government's role in protecting against abortion. What's your response to pro-lifers who say, well, the goal has always been to overturn Roe so that it would be a state's issue?
Well, there is not one political leader political organization leader that I know that has ever said, when we finally get the power, it'll only be in the states. There are a lot of people who've been elected to public office who have said that, but that has never been the position of the pro-life movement. The pro-life movement's position has always been that this is about the human dignity, and it's about the 14th Amendment. It's about and that it could never, any human rights movement that's been successful in all of our nation's history has been grounded in the dignity of the individual, and it has never stopped at a state line. Geography should never predict whether you live or die, and all these human rights movements have borne that out over time. We cannot be the movement that makes a states' rights only issue out of a child born in California.
You yourself have said, a 15-week limit doesn't please everyone. Even maybe it's too weak for some. Why 15 weeks? And what's your response to that? I've heard some of your pro-abortion critics say that they chose 15 weeks because it polled well.
Well, actually, our critics are correct. It did poll well. Polling means, and poll after poll after poll, reflects a building consensus that the country is somewhere, not nowhere. They're not for unlimited abortion as a nation, and they're not, unfortunately, for life at conception. And they're somewhere between 12 and 15 weeks is the consensus. That's what shows over and over and over again. If it could be at our view, and it should be all of our view who love the unborn child and their mothers, that we should be as bold as we can without outstripping consensus. We don't want to pull so far that we can't pull some of those children off the railroad tracks. But what would be morally wrong is to let them all stay on the railroad tracks when the train is coming. And because of our purity or sense of dignity or sense of that's just a little bit weak, pull nobody off. So the idea that somehow we ask for nothing and we build towards nothing because we don't have as much as we want is not what human rights movements have taught us over time, that incrementalism means that you save some. Ask Lincoln what he did. It was the same thing.
In 2016, Trump famously penned a pro-life letter outlining his commitments under your guidance, I believe, and he at the time committed to signing a late-term abortion ban into law. Do you see his announcement this week as backing away from that promise if he's reelected?
Kellyanne Conway and I worked on that letter with our team. It was with full knowledge of where we hoped he would go. He absolutely embraced that. The most important part was the judges. He followed through on all of that. He did what he could, even on the 20-week idea, that limit, and with a statement of administration policy, he said, bring that legislation to my desk, please. So what I think is true, he's always had a keen sense of the political. I think that this is one issue that he is just is wrong. He's landed in the wrong place, but he has decided this is how he's going to handle it politically. I think no matter what, the contrast is still obvious what we have to do. We have to have a pro-life Senate and a pro-life presidency, even if it's not the full-blown that we want. But yes, I think it's obviously a change. It's a change that, but I'm sure that the other side will exploit, and we will just point to the lives that will be saved if we have a president that allows states to move forward.
Marjorie Dannenfelser, thank you for taking the time, and what I know has been a busy week. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Catherine.